Welcome! This is Andrina Schufran, and I am director of the Insect Adventure, part of the Department of Entomology and Plant Pathology here at OSU. And today we're going to be looking at some of the animals that we house here at the Insect Adventure to kind of get you pumped up. I'm going to give you a little bit of background about the Insect Adventure before we move on to more of the live critters. The Insect Adventure has been around at Oklahoma State University since 2005. And over that time, our program has grown and grown and grown. And now the Insect Adventure actually makes contact with about 300,000 people across the state of Oklahoma with over 600 presentations. We have a facility on campus that is open to the public every first and third Saturday of every month. And we're available for birthday parties, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, 4-H, classroom visits, homeschooling visits, you name it, but all of those are by appointment. We currently have about 30 different species of arthropods that we use in our presentation. And one of the most charming is the one that you're seeing on film right now. This is the giant African forest millipede. And they come from Africa and the forest, where they live on the ground and they're important decomposers. They are completely harmless. This is actually a juvenile. When it's done growing, it could be up to 14 inches long. So she'll keep growing her whole life. So let's talk about, how do you tell a bug is a bug when you see it? What is a bug? What makes a bug? How do you tell a bug, which is called an arthropod in entomology, how do you know an arthropod when you see it? Well, an arthropod has an exoskeleton. This group of animals is the largest group of animals on Earth. There are more than 20 million different kinds, and they live every place you can possibly imagine, including on each one of your eyelashes, and Antarctica, and on the bottom of the seafloor. But basically, if it has an exoskeleton, that makes it a bug. It has to have exoskeleton, legs, and inside, it needs to have an open circulatory system, which means that bugs don't have veins or arteries. They don't have lungs or a true heart. They have an open body cavity. These are roly-polies. The orange roly-polies are not from the United States, but these dairy cow roly-polies are here from the United States. And they are actually crustaceans. They are aquatic bugs like crabs or shrimp or lobsters. And if finding out that a crab, a shrimp, or a lobster is a bug, I apologize, but we pay lots of good money to eat lots of good bugs when they come from the ocean. So let's look at some other bugs. We were introduced to the giant African millipede. This is a millipede from the United States, from down in South Texas. This is about as big as a millipede gets in our country, about 6 inches. And if we put them on the ground and let them walk around a little bit, you will be able to see how you tell the difference between a millipede and a centipede. This is as fast as a millipede goes. Millipedes are decomposers, so their food does not run away from them. So millipedes can move very slowly. Consequently, they have more legs for each section of their body. Aside from speed, the best way to tell a millipede when you see one is the number of legs per body section. For millipedes, each body section, they have 4 identical legs, 2 on the left and 2 on the right. Now, this is very different from a centipede, an apex predator. He's fast and furious, and he only eats meat. And if you look closely, you can see that the centipede is the one, if you look closely at the mouth parts, you will see that they don't have a soft mouth like a millipede. They have big, pointy fangs that they inject venom into their prey. Yes, when they bite humans, they do inject venom into us, but it is not dangerous to us. There's never been a death anywhere on Earth, anywhere in the history of time, from a centipede bite. It's very painful, but it's not deadly. They're lightning fast because they have to catch things like spiders and mice and beetles and caterpillars and things on the ground. And centipedes have only one pair of legs per body section. So for a centipede, they only have one leg on each side for each body segment. The two things at the end are not stingers. They're just a set of legs that are used to look like stingers for part of their protection. So let's move on to some very interesting arachnids. Now, how do you know an arachnid when you see it? An arachnid is an arthropod that has 8 legs. It never has any antennae, and it never has any wings. This is a Vinegaroon. They're from the United States, and they are completely harmless. They make vinegar in their body, which is why they're called Vinegaroons, but they're not dangerous. They don't have a stinger. They don't bite. And they're very cool because that front pair of legs that's moving around that look like a set of antennae, those are actually legs, and those legs can touch and hear and taste and smell. They use them like antennae, but they're actually legs. So they're very fun. We also have a true scorpion here to be able to show you the difference between the Vinegaroon and a true scorpion. You can see that he has pincers and a stinger where the Vinegaroon did not. That does not make all scorpions deadly. This is an African emperor scorpion, and it is one that you could put 1,000 of them on you and they would never sting, they would not bite, might pinch a little bit. Now that one's not alive. That is the exoskeleton of a tarantula. And while lots of people do handle tarantulas, we do not handle ours at the Insect Adventure because we want them to live for a very long time. But these are 3 different tarantulas that we have here, and tarantulas are another one of those arthropods that get a bad rap. No human being has ever gotten sick, gotten a sore, and no human being has ever died anywhere on Earth from being bitten by a tarantula. They're just big and scary and hairy, but they're not dangerously venomous. All right, so what makes an insect an insect? Yes, it has an exoskeleton like all arthropods. Yes, it has legs. And yes, it has an open circulatory system. But insects are a special subset of arthropods that have only 6 legs, have 2 antennae, and are the only group of bugs that possess wings. This cute little guy is called a possum beetle because his defense is when he's scared, he will roll over on his back and pretend to be dead. And when the coast is clear, he's up and at 'em again. Here we have on display a velvet ant. And a velvet ant is also very common in Oklahoma. While we're looking at her, I'm also going to read a few questions. So, what insects do you like, or what insects do you hate? And why do you love or hate these insects? How can a butterfly be a bad insect? Which is the deadliest bug on earth? I will stop you now and tell you it's not any kind of spider, it's not any kind of scorpion, it's something entirely different that kills about 4 million people every year. And speaking of the environment, how can bugs in the environment be useful to people? How do we use bugs?